That's where you all know where you're at if you tuned in, you know. But we want to welcome you tonight. This is our Tuesday night, July the 10th of the year 2012. Our weekly production that we have choreographed and practiced and honed and polished as fine as frog hair split four ways and sandpapered on the end.
Some of you are interested, I know. We've got a couple of videos coming on later. At the end of the show, we've got one, Mr. Slusher addressing the workshop last evening, and we got another one. We made it to Raleigh down at for Scott Evans. I did that over the weekend. I was a little pressed for time, so I didn't get to do a lot of editing, but the information's there. I just didn't get to dress it up much. So if you're interested, you might want to stay for that. And other than that, I guess whatever you got going. Oh,
yeah,
I got to tell you,
star of the show.
I got to show you the star. We're going to introduce this new personality to the show. This has never been seen here on live television before. I highly recommend it. It'd have been real good if Bob hadn't dropped it on its head.
Right.
There it is, folks. Take a gander at that. That's a Bob tomato special. He's got them up there, got mushmelons and watermelons and peaches. Got them too. Thanks, Bob.
Let me tell you, these tomatoes here, and how was it that, what's his name spelled potatoes? He put an E on the end of it?
Yep.
Oh, the tomatoes.
Well, these tomatoes got an extra E too. They're so good.
Them maters, they're about as good as you'll ever put in your mouth.
They got an E for excellent on the end of it.
I'll tell you what, they're about as good as I put in my mouth. They came from South Carolina. I'm not going to...
Rode the bus.
I'm not going to run any particular tomato down, but we've got one around here that people...
It looks beautiful.
I mean, they're hard.
They look beautiful.
They're beautiful looking, but they're tough.
Yeah. You have to have a lot of teeth to eat them. They're crunchy.
Right here I am slightly lacking on the teeth department, so I need something I can put my gums into.
I like a crunchy apple, but I don't care much for a crunchy tomato.
Right. Yeah, said that right. I got good peaches. You didn't make a star of that peach, did you?
No, but I told them about them.
Right, okay.
I mean, I just got so much room over here in the produce section.
Yeah. Now, believe it or not, that tomato that Ronnie showed you is one I called out because it had a little bit of blemish on one side.
What it is.
And this is what Ronnie and I eat regular.
You dropped it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to eat it tonight.
But just
one, I mean, it's where he scratched it, but boy, it tastes good. I mean, yes, it looks good anyway.
Right. Good tomato. Peaches are
smells
real,
like
real
a tomato.
Good. Peaches going to get away from here real fast, so you need to come on and get them. I've got about maybe, I might have 25 pounds left out of 125. So I've sold right at 100 pounds of peaches. And I'm going to come up with some more if I get rid of these. And also I've got some good mountain cabbage, came from Hendersonville, North Carolina.
Where they got mountain cabbage?
I mean, there's some mountains there at Hendersonville, right up on top of the mountain there, almost as high as Asheville. And that's where the cabbage came from. The peaches, the big peaches, Freestone, they came from South Carolina, along with some delicious cantaloupe and some delicious watermelons. So just come on down.
Yeah, I got part of one of them watermelons in my refrigerator.
Huh?
I got part of one of them watermelons in my refrigerator. I ain't going to tell you where the other part's at.
Oh, Lord. Probably down at the end of the walking trail.
Yep. Dixie Concrete have been concrete providers for a number of years. They are so good at providing concrete that just about nobody is their equal. So, if you get to needing, get a hankering for some concrete, let me be the first to recommend that you use Dixie Concrete. Dixie Concrete for all your concrete needs. Go to Bob for tomatoes and Dixie for concrete and Rainbow for breakfast. But now, remember, I told you before, I noticed we've had some more people join in. We're going to have some videos here at the end of the campaign rally and Mr. Slusher again. Everybody seems to like Slusher. He's all right.
You take on Dixie Concrete. You will not get it confused with my tomatoes. You will not get it confused with Rainbow Restaurant's breakfast, because they got the hardest concrete known to man.
Not not Rainbow Restaurant, but Dixie Concrete.
Dixie Concrete's got the hardest concrete known to man. Rainbow Restaurant's got the
biggest biscuits known to man.
And the bestest breakfast known to man. The fastest drive-through service, most courteous, locally owned. Your businesses appreciate it, and you'll keep coming back for more because it does tickle your innards.
When you see their biscuits, don't get confused. They're biscuits. They're not pizzas. They just big like a pizza.
It's my biscuits that's as hard as...
They're right up above the speed hump, dip, hump, dip, hump, dip.
My biscuits used to be as hard as Dixie Concrete.
I made an oversupply of biscuits last week. I got some in the freezer. I guess they're hard, but you know, if you ain't got nothing else to eat, you can manage one of them.
I'll guarantee you
I've got 2 weeks, two mornings a week when I come out a little later and I get hungry and I eat one of my biscuits. That makes me appreciate them days when I come out earlier and get a real biscuit.
Right.
So, Bob, what's going on? I noticed you went down to the Parliament meeting last night. Did you learn anything?
Yeah, I was down. You know, it's kind of like a meeting of the Muslim Brotherhood.
Well, I don't know me Muslim
what
brother.
I kind of compare it to, you know, they kind of looking around. They didn't know whether the Supreme Parliament's going to declare them illegal or not. But they're kind of just biding their time, waiting for the election before they drop that other shoe, which is another tax increase on those people who have worked and saved and scrimped and denied themselves so they can buy them a little land of their own. And, you know, it's not going to affect these cats that out here staying in a condo and riding around in a leased BMW.
You might get them condo people a little.
What?
Might get them condo people a little. Them our houseboats that ain't got no steering mechanism.
You said that right. And I was talking to one fella yesterday, and he said a tax increase would really hurt him because he has a bunch of property. But he probably can handle it. Some way or another he will handle it because he has this rental property. The people that are really going to get hurt are those people who get their pension, or they get their Social Security, or they own some type of disability. When the taxes go up, their income is not going to go up to match it. Now, with rental property, if your taxes go up and you have more expense, you can raise the price on your rental property.
Did you hear that?
What?
What you just said.
Oh, I know that.
Okay, because if the taxes go up, I'm going to have to raise my...
If it goes up 20%, what is 20% times 0?
Well, I haven't thought of it that way. I've got another little... You mentioned the Muslim Brotherhood. I read today that they had plans to tear down them pagan symbols over in Giza.
Oh, in Jerusalem?
No.
Where?
The pyramids.
Oh, they think they're pagan?
Yeah, they're going to tear them down.
Well, you know, they destroyed that beautiful carving of Buddha up in Afghanistan, blew it up.
Yep.
And it had stood there for thousands of years. You know, sometimes I can understand why people would say that Barack Obama has leanings toward Islam, because the Muslims are trying to take everybody back to about the 8th or 9th century, and that's exactly what Barack Obama is trying to do. He's trying to take us back to about the 8th or...
The EPA...
He don't want us to live one bit better than his grandma.
The EPA would like to take us back to... I mean, energy is what saves lives constantly. Energy is saving lives, but when it gets so fewer people can afford it, there are going to be more people dying.
Sure.
And the energy is all the way from fertilizer to feed them to a fan to kind of keep the dust blowed off of them if they can't afford air conditioning.
I just wonder how all those all that green power is working out up there around the Washington, D.C. area since they had the storms.
I don't know, but I do.
I mean, I'm not wishing any bad luck on anybody, but
I hope the right people are without power.
It just won't. We don't have anything to fill the bill for oil.
Well, there's another thing, and this ain't got nothing to do with anything. But I also read that a possum was hard to poison. Did you know that?
Does you have some particular?
Well, I read that, and now this has got nothing to do with anything. I'm just talking. I just thought it was interesting. But I read that a possum was immune to poison.
Really?
Yeah. Different snake poisons. You know, there's a difference in cobra and coral snake and rattlesnake. One of them's a nerve venom. The other one is inflation, infective type poison. But apparently a possum has some chemical that it releases, and it
neutralizes.
Yeah, negates all different kinds of poisons. And they've isolated that and injected into mice, and then give them a lethal dose of snake venom, and they just go happily along. So I'm wondering, I'm wondering, you know, if there is any potential here for maybe in cancer research, because there are bound to be some toxins that cancer cells are more sensitive to, as they are in all the chemotherapy stuff. And maybe, you know, you've always, in chemotherapy, you try your best to poison the cancer and keep the patient from dying. So if you can find some way to combine these two things so that you can give the poison to the cancer and keep the patient alive.
The only problem is if you go through that treatment, you have to get worried about getting run over by a car at night.
Well, I've thought of that too. But I have developed a whole new respect for possums, which gets me to my main point.
Right.
If we could just get them immune to tar wheels, car wheels, we could keep them alive.
Yeah, well, they're not. They're a little bit susceptible to lead poisoning.
Yeah.
Especially around chicken house.
Yeah. If a fella eats enough possum, can he eat other strange and exotic things?
That might possibly have something to do with it.
Man eats possum. Can he wash it down with strychnine?
I don't know.
It certainly is an educational show.
That's a thought, you know. Eat less chicken and eat more possum, and you'll be healthier.
And if you need to grill a possum, I know a man who's got some summertime grilling gas.
I guarantee
that will put a smoke flavor in your possum.
That's right. And if you want some roadside ready possum barbecuing equipment, I'll see if I can't come up with something for you.
You get your barbecue equipment from Bob, your possum out of the road, and your gas from Digger. Digger Wilson at Wilson's Gas, 562-5444, right in the middle of the road in Sawmill Holler, and you'll have a combination. Digger has got that there smoky propane.
Yeah.
He's got that there mesquite. And
he's got mosquitoes.
He's got mesquite propane, and he's got hickory. He got hickory propane. Got them hickories in it. Got hickory nuts in it. Yeah, buddy. It won't stop up your grill either.
No, it won't. Sure won't. You're guaranteed to whiten your teeth.
Yeah, and put hair on your head.
In fact, I'm going to have to start using them items.
You're going to have to start washing your hair in propane. 562-5444.
All your propane needs. That's Digger Wilson's Propane Incorporated.
I don't know whether he's incorporated.
I don't know either. You know, it just sounded.
I don't know for sure.
It sounded good. The LLC. It sounds good.
I don't know for sure he's got flavored propane either, but I'd say he could get it.
All righty. You know, and you know, with this little rain, this is an excellent time to put some gravel on your driveway.
Yeah, it'll kind of mulch in there.
You work it down in the soil, so this winter you come in, you won't go, whoa, honey, I can't get up the driveway, you know. So just go and call Ridge Runner Trucking Company, 871-12 2410. Have them bring you out a good load of gravel and just fix your driveway up like it ought to be. Or if you need topsoil hauled, if you need a load of sand or a load of compost or a load of mulch, you go ahead and call Ridge Runner Trucking Company. They'll haul your gravel cheaper than if you call the rock quarry and they delivered it
in
straight
person
to you.
Well, Bob, is anything else going on that might be interesting to the general public?
No, I don't know. I think, we were treated to a report last night by the incubators.
Yeah.
And they're having a hard enough time finding their way around that 3,000 square foot office space.
They said that they were going to let other people have cubicles in there and office in there. I think UGG TV needs an office down there, a cubicle of their own.
Do you think we ought to do one? Maybe
they
will incubate us down there.
Well, we could stand a little incubation.
Yeah, sure could.
I don't know. How would that look if we had a sign hanging down there? UGG TV, second floor, right there by the elevator.
Yeah, we ought to do that, yeah.
Said they'd make copies for us and stuff.
Sure.
You're going to have to, they won't give you no money if they'll help you hunt a bank that will. I mean, there's one downstairs. It wouldn't be too far to go.
That's true. What building are they located in?
Community Trust used to be First National.
Is that First National?
Used to
be. The one down there at right
one
at
there
Jacksboro.
On the left, the big one.
Right at Jacksboro,
you go upstairs there, Weir Woods.
Okay. Well, I guess, just a way to incubate the bank a little bit by renting that space.
I just can't wait till I get me one of them there small business loans for UGG TV.
Right.
It's kind of an insult, though. I kind of consider UGG TV as a big business. Reckon
Right.
I can get a big business loan?
Yeah.
A big loan for a small business?
Yeah, that's what we need, the big loan for a small business.
I just want the same break that Solyndra got.
Yeah. In fact, I could do with a little less money.
Well, I could too, but I'd like for the government to guarantee it.
Yeah. Well, what we can do, we can't build a convention center because there's only one place on Norris Lake that you can put a convention center, and that's right before you get into Anderson County. But maybe we could come up with.
Well, it's after you get into Anderson County, you come back.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we could come up with something where the county could issue bonds for us and guarantee the bonds, but yet it's not going to cost the county anything, and we will just let they can pay us to operate the business, whatever it might be. Maybe I don't know. Probably Conestoga wagons wouldn't go very good, but maybe we can open up
gas keeps going up. They might get better.
A buggy factory or something, and let the county have the profit and just pay us to operate it.
Well, that's the thought.
That's logical, isn't it? Greg William Baird go for something like that?
I don't know. You think Darth Vader
You
up
know
here?
who William Baird reminds me of? I was trying to think of his name.
That guy jumped off of the diving board and went across the house?
He's a dead ringer for Buddy Hackett. Isn't he?
Well,
you look at it, he reminds me of Buddy Hackett so much. He reminds me of Buddy Hackett with a hangover. He does, really.
I mean, I get into a lot of stuff, but I'm going to leave Buddy Hackett alone. He ain't done nothing to me.
Poor Buddy's dead, ain't he?
He ain't bothering nobody.
The Buddy, bless his heart, I enjoyed his comedy. In fact, I saw him in person in Philadelphia back many, many eons ago. And when he was a young man, and he's already died. I'll tell you how long ago it is. I saw Tom Jones back in person, back in 1972.
Would that be the singer or the guy the book was wrote about?
Huh?
Would that be the singing Tom Jones or the
Yeah.
Tom Jones in the book?
No, I ain't talking about the peeping Tom.
Well.
But I saw Tom Jones when he came to.
Did you throw your underwear at him?
No, I didn't. I couldn't get him off. Year before last, I believe, either last year or year before last, when he came to Knoxville. And he still can sing real good, and he looked pretty good for his age. He never was the most handsome person.
Yeah, but you didn't get real close to him, did you?
No.
So you get way off from me. I look good too.
I look good from I-75.
Yeah, if you're going fast.
Yeah.
Loved by anyone. How's that go? That don't matter.
Well, let me tell you one thing I've been thinking about doing. I know we don't have a whole lot of time, because we've got those little videos. I'm working up, and of course, folks here in this area may not be all that much interested, but I think you really enjoy more or less a tribute to the community that I was raised in.
Where are you gonna
And,
leave them your fortune?
Huh?
You gonna leave them your fortune?
No, I'm just gonna wish them well, but there's so many factors that affect our lives, and regardless, I hate to lay the blame on these people the way I have turned out, but I think it would be interesting to relate some of the forces, some of the influences that have been a part of my life for the 80, 77 years. And last 13 of them been here in Tennessee, and of course that in itself has been more or less an influence on my life. But sometime within the next maybe 30 to 60 days, I'm gonna work up a little program, and I'm gonna notify a lot of people down in that area where they can tune in and watch their favorite son.
They got a favorite son?
That was me. Enumerate some of the mostly good things.
Well, where is this community?
This community is located right smack dab at the place that Andrew Jackson had his first law office.
Well, what's the name of it?
It's called McLeansville. McLeansville. And
I'll have to do one of Maryville, Murrayville.
You need to do that, some tribute to Maryville. McLeansville was a very unique place. It was always a place that had a great deal of gentlemen farmers, people who worked in town but yet still operate the farm along with their work in town. It also was the bedroom for Greensboro, North Carolina. An awful lot of college professors and teachers and bankers and everybody came out in that area to live, which was located about 8 miles outside the city limits. Of course, the city limits have expanded now, but I'm sure it's still somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4 miles outside the city limits. It has a mailing area when I left there of 97 miles. There's 97 miles of mailing roads in the McLeansville mailing district. And it has an interesting history. Like I say, it had the first law office for Andrew Jackson. It also had a hotel in the past. It had a depot. It had rock quarries. It had a milling operation. It had a complete high school, first through 12th grade high school. It had probably was one of the few communities in the state of North Carolina that did not have a Baptist church until my dad, who was a Methodist, thought there ought to be a Baptist church in the community. and he established McLeansville Baptist Church, or helped to establish the McLeansville Baptist Church, which is now one of the largest Baptist churches in the state of North Carolina. And so those are some of the things I'm going to cover. And a lot of these things, the people in McLeansville, especially the younger generation, they're not aware of some of the history of their community, and some of the older ones have never considered it worthwhile to bring the history of this community out, come out of the closet with it. So I want to do that. And
you got a lot of people in the closet down there, do you?
Yeah. There you go. Let's see, we got a caller coming in here.
Yeah, I've got Doug TV.
Hey.
Howdy, boys. How you doing?
Howdy.
Lordy mercy. I just wanted to call in. Y'all were talking about that church, and I was down there at the, that workshop,
Uh-huh.
and I heard that boy talking about them daggum snakes. What's going on with that?
Well, there is a law in Tennessee that says you're not allowed to handle snakes in churches. Of course, it's a little more complicated than that. And it's the belief of some people, and I respect that belief, that you can handle snakes if you want to at your church. And
well, he goes by what he's going to say and stick with it, and I think he'll be all right. But, man, if them little kids or something get up there, one of them old people get hurt, they're going to be in trouble.
well, I agree, but supposedly that is not going to happen, and I'm not taking a side in that. I'm not going to jump on a man's religious beliefs, but you know, that's for you them. I'm not going to handle any on purpose. If I pick one up, I'm going to get rid of it as quick as I can.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that one. I don't want to touch no snakes or nothing, but
I'm like Wendy Bible was. Where do they want a back door?
Lord have mercy. But yeah, I just wanted to call and talk to y'all about that. I
Yeah.
just thought it was kind of silly, but that's a good point right there, Ronnie.
Well, you and me think that it may be wacky. You and me probably don't want to be anywhere near it, but they might. You know, there's some people I never was in. There's a lot of people take sacraments in church, like the cracker and the grape juice, and then you get on up into the Catholic Church with their sacraments. That's all just part of it. And if a man wants to do it, as long as he protects people who are not involved, I'm with him. I mean, I think we need a whole lot less government involved in telling us what's good for us.
Lord have mercy, I know what you're saying. Now, I do have one thing I want to say, and it's kind of funny, but you ought to get hold of that Akbar feller and get him some of them cobras, take him up there and have him charm him.
Okay, we'll see if we can get him. Ahmed.
I think his name's Akbar. I'm not completely sure, but I think that's what he goes by.
We'll work on him.
Okay.
Alrighty, well, if he calls in or anything, why don't you talk to him?
Okay, we'll do that.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Appreciate you.
Got a little serious stuff here. Some of you maybe know, maybe all of you know, maybe most of you know, but Don Nanks passed away last night. He was.
Yeah, I wonder why she wasn't there.
Yeah, he was a very dedicated. I mean, we paid him for his work, but he tried his best to do us a good job. He didn't raise your taxes one time because he wasn't in that position. He took care of our money that he collected, and everybody liked him, and he's gone. And we will miss him. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope he would enjoy his retirement a lot longer.
About Don.
The next thing is, if you go to LaFolletNews.com, the obituary section there's got the details on what's happening and where and when. You can get the details from LaFolletNews.com, the obituary tab, and it's already on there. I think that ceremonies will be Friday, but I'm a little uncertain on some of that. Check it out, and our prayers for Don's family, and we're just glad that we had him as a friend, a neighbor for the time we did.
I'm real sorry to hear about Don. I knew him. I was one of the first people I met when I come up here and became very, very good friends with he and his wife. And
well, the only thing he ever did that I didn't like, and I didn't know it at the time, was he married me. He married me, not
Yeah.
me, but he performed the services.
Yeah. Well,
But I
you
can't
know,
hold that
everybody
against him.
makes mistakes.
Yeah, I asked him to.
Everybody makes mistakes.
If you get to needing, and this is a complete change of subject, but if you need anything for your car or tractor or boat or anything, go to Napa. They got a new oil special up there, ain't they,
Yeah,
Bub?
they do.
What is it?
Well, you know, you can go over here to what do you call that place?
Pep Boys?
Pep Boys. You know, Manny, Mo, and Jack, I believe their name. Now, they got a special on some old nondescript type of oil for about $20.99 or something like that. You go down here to Napa, and they've got what kind of oil did I say that was?
Castrol.
Castro motor oil, 5
Not
quarts.
castor oil, but Castrol.
Castro motor oil. No, I don't believe we want no more of that castor oil.
No.
Castro motor oil, 5 quarts, plus a oil filter for your car for $19.99.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't beat that. And they still got the best price in the county that I know of for lawnmower batteries. You know, about $25, $26, somewhere right around in there. You did get a $5 rebate, but I believe the rebate's gone, but you still could buy it cheaper there than you can anywhere else. Or if you need parts for your farm-owned tractor, or for your Alice Chalmer, or for your case, whatever kind you need, they can get those parts. And they know what they're doing. They're going to get you what you need at the cheapest possible price. You just give Randy a call up there, and I believe that number is what,
562-9496 or
9496.
562-2529. Now don't get that mixed up with 562-2526 because that's the mayor's office.
That's the mayor.
Mayor, county mayor, yep. 2526.
Which mayor?
County mayor, we ain't got but one.
We got a city
Buddy,
mayor.
Buddy Hackett, he ain't the county mayor though, he's the city mayor.
Okay, Buddy Hackett.
Yeah, we got Buddy Hackett, we got Darth Vader.
There
You know, Darth Vader went over to the dark side, don't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what
You know
happened.
why he went over to the dark side?
Well, 'cause he heard the light hurt his eyes.
No, he couldn't find a hat to fit his old big head. If you get to wanting to go to the hospital, or not wanting to go to the hospital, but have to anyway, you might want
you
to call.
have to go to the hospital.
Might want to call VitalCare 562-9370. That's VitalCare of Campbell County, and they are serious, and unlike these fools that you're watching, they'll take care of you and be good to you and make sure you get.
I'll tell you, I've been
what you
seeing
need.
their vehicles on the road more and more here lately. I don't know
Because they'll run.
Huh?
That's because they'll
Hey,
run.
yeah, crank. We turn the
Get
key
'em
on
crunk.
there, they crank
Yeah,
up.
they can get them crunk up.
I imagine that would help business.
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
it?
you got to push the ambulance off. It's bad for business. Can't
But
cut it off.
I
Got to
noticed
keep it
something
running.
else too. They've been cleaning up the county ambulances a little bit better.
Yeah.
They've been look like somebody's been giving them a little tender, loving care, which is nothing wrong with that. I think that's great. You know.
Since we're paying for it, I think we ought
But
to.
I'll tell you something else. I know they're building a new courthouse.
Yeah.
But have you seen did you notice the deplorable shape of the grass on the sidewalks and up against the wall
Yeah.
and on the banks of the street in front of our grand old courthouse?
Well, they
down
don't
there?
want to cut it in this weather because it's liable to interfere with that there root system and it'll die off. It's, you know, what they've got, they learned this from a proprietor of a salvage. I mean, this guy said he's going to start raising native grasses, and I think they're going to turn that over.
Plants.
They're going to turn that over to a native plant
Well,
place.
they've turned the cracks in the sidewalk already over to native plants.
Yeah.
But I believe, you know, that, what was it, Jerry Sharp up here was come out with a little pamphlet or something telling about all the places to see around La Frolic, and one of them was the courthouse.
You mean the soon to be empty
Yeah,
courthouse?
soon to be empty courthouse. And I don't believe, also the Sugar Shack down there is supposed to be a great institution. I don't think it's been there, 6, 8 months, something like that.
Where's it at?
See there? That's what I was saying. Sugar Shack, they must have paid for the advertising.
Okay.
It was one of the places of interest for all these walkers we got up and down the trail.
Well, another thing we've got to tell you is we're going to wrap up and put our videos on, And Bob is Bob here. Bob's got a string collection.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to tell them before I run them videos?
What?
You got anything else you want to tell them before I run them videos?
Well, I appreciate being with you tonight, and I hope you enjoy the videos, and I hope you will start becoming more and more aware of what's going on here in your city. It's your city, and it's your county. It does not belong to the politicians. It does not belong to the mayors, regardless of what they think. It does not belong to the county commissioners. It does not belong, I can't say, it probably does belong to the finance office, the county finance office.
No, we got mortgage for us.
Yeah.
They mortgaged our stuff for us.
He's taking care of the mortgage.
They take care of our mortgages.
He's taking care of the mortgage. But I'll tell you, you better be aware, because they just have almost reached the end of their string where they have to have more money just to pay for what they've already obligated themselves for. Obligated us for.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
folks, watch our shows. The first one is from the Scott Evans Rally. It's hot as blazes. The music is good, and the food was even better. I didn't get to add much to this because I just didn't have time to edit it, but it's him in his own words. He gets introduced there by Tip Jones, and then he gets to talk, tell us what he's for and what he's against. Tune in tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on the same place, or go to Channel 12, and you can see us there too,
Right.
if you can stand it. Thank you, folks.
See ya.
Sorry about Don, too. See you.
I guess tonight you don't want more taxes. You might do another road trip. And I'm here tonight to kind of tell some of you, because I know a lot of you know my qualifications and stuff, kind of give you a little bit about the Stilt Bridge and Stilt Road for 28 years. Being my dad on Evans Construction Company, it's all I've ever done, all I know. And what I see happening in the county is we're losing our roads. And as we have traveled around the outer edge, it's in bad shape, parts of the first, and as they keep getting worse, we're losing our base, and it's just going to fall apart. We're not getting anything in certain areas. As you drive down the road, you'll see that the roads are just in bad shape. Not just right here, if you're coming off any of the interstates, you're seeing that they're just bad repair. And while we was looking around at some of the different places and checking out things, we talked to a lot of people, and there's a lot of people here that I've sat on your porch for maybe too long, sat in your house for a little too long, but we wanted to talk to as many people as we could, but this county's too big to go knocking on every door. So we've had to rely on mouth to mouth, just kind of let you know who we are, what we know, and give you an idea of what we want to do. On the taxes, I don't believe we need more taxes. I believe we're wasting enough money. We get $3 million a year plus. But you're not getting $3 million worth of service out of your current road system. Okay. I looked around here in the last few months while we were moving around and dodging county trucks, hauling rock here and there, and equipment here and there. And, you've got the most work out of him in the last 3 months, and you've got out of him in 8 years. I can't take no credit for the work, but I did say I will take the credit for the motivation. Because if I hadn't put my paperwork in, got certified to run, he didn't have to put up one sign. He didn't have to do anything. Now, I can't come in here and promise you that I can save the roads. But if you give me $3 million, you're going to get $3 million worth of service. I was reading the paper and looking at the questions that was put to us by the Follett Press, and it took me a little while to sit down and figure out exactly how I wanted to word mine. And when it actually came out, I decided that I was going to read what the other guy was saying. And when it comes down to the three most important things, the priorities, what this campaign is about, I looked, and on his first one he said communication. I said, well, that's pretty good. I said, didn't have it in my list as the most priority. It was in my list somewhere else. And he said, answering the phones and being visible. How's that working for you? Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I mean, I can see it now. You know, he's driving up Ivy Dale. He's blowing the horn. He's waving. And Tracy's sitting on the porch, and he's waving his hand, and she's waving the one finger, hands back down. You know, no. You need to get back down off the mountain because you're doing that for us. Yeah, this one finger. I looked at his second one, and he said safety. And I thought, wow, safety's good deal. We want our roads to be safe. But as I read on, it said mowing the right-of-ways. And I said, mowing the right-of-ways so that you can see at intersections. Well, let me think about this now. I try to put my feet in his shoes. I'm thinking. Well, you know, as I'm driving down the road, if the ditch is mowed real good, I know what I'm going to hit while I'm dodging the potholes. Exactly. We got a lot of waste out here. Things that you don't hear about. We own a rock quarry. I don't know if any of you know, we own a rock quarry. We make our own rock. In the last 8 years, we've been fined $50,000 for health and safety violations. Now, your former road superintendent owned the rock quarry. You should know better than these things. That's your money he's threw away. He went up on Melvin and built a bridge with county forces. He got a big rain and it fell down in the creek, and they sat without a bridge for almost a year. And they had to go to the state to get money. Wasted your money. Block retaining wall out on Ridge Road. When I first saw it put up, I said, it won't sit there, it'll fall over. As it started leaning, they dumped rock over it because it was going to fall over. You go up to where they had to cut in and build a road up to Rarity Mountain. And when you look at it, it's falling apart. It's because they didn't know to compact the road. Now, you're talking about a road that was supposed to last 20 years, and you're in 7 years, and now you've got problems. When you go down here to Hunter's Branch, if it wasn't benched and packed correctly, we're going to have problems in 3 or 4 years. It'll look good for a little while, but then we'll have problems. So I turned around and looked at all the waste, and I said, well, with all this waste, surely we can figure out how to fix some of these things. There's a lot of organization and things that needs to be done out in the road department with men, equipment. I decided to look at my list and said, what the priorities I said was money. Because it's your money we're spending. You don't care most of what I do. You want me to be a good person. But if I don't spend your money and take care of you, then you're going to be upset. The second part that I had was the paving. Everybody likes good paving. Our paving's falling apart. So we're going to have to go back to some old techniques of tar and chip, buy ourselves a few years, do some inexpensive stuff. We're going to have to look for grants and different things. But the last part was the taxes. Your current road superintendent has promoted a sales tax. He stood up before Rotary and he has promoted it, and he can't break it down, he can't figure out where the money's going, but he needs the money. Now you voted it down. They're saying it's going to come back on the ballot again. And he's pushed for it. Well, that didn't work. So he went and requested $1 million. Now this $1 million is not $1 million one-time deal. This is $1 million every year. And to get that $1 million, they have to add 15 cents to your tax rate, which is 8.5% on top of what you're paying right now. If you're paying $1,000 now, in property tax, you're going to be paying $1,085, and that does not include what the schools want. Now, he's wanting to back off that. He said, oh, no, 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 no. And you'll hear him. You may hear radio ads, probably get some newspaper ads. He'll be screaming, I didn't want that. I didn't want it. but he's not formally requested that it be removed. He's sitting on the fence. He wants to win this election. He wants your money, and he will do what he wants to do with your money. When you elect your road superintendent, he does what he wants. Now, you can call, and they can hang up. You can scream and yell. You might not be able to find them, but whoever you elect is going to spend your money. So you've got a big decision to make. You've got a lot of bad roads. My decision is you evaluate the roads, and you work in each district. You've got 5, split the money among the 5. It ain't going to be perfectly split every time, but you do the best you can in those areas. And you're going to have to evaluate the roads on about 4 or 5 different criteria. Now, there's a lot of things we can do without paving. We've got to get the water off the road. We've got to do a lot of ditching. But we can start. And that's about the most you can get. I went around, a lot of you that I've talked to, I've told you, I've looked at you, I said, I can't promise you anything because I want to look you in the eye later. When I walk up to you, I want to be able to say, I'm doing what I can right here, and here I am now. I plan on being available. I like to put 1 day a week in the office for people to come see me. I don't care to return phone calls. I own a construction company. We went for many hours, many late hours. You follow me home on the weekends. I've been up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning going to check on jobs. So I'm used to it. So while you're here, if you got any questions for me, kind of come on around and ask me a little bit later. One of the things I wanted to ask you, I know a lot of you, has anybody here lost their job in the last 4 or 5 years? Anybody lost their job? How about, are you working more because they laid off other people in your job? Yeah, you're doing twice the work because they had to cut the forces. What about some of you retired people right here? You making more money now if you're investing now than you was in 4 years? Okay, that's right. No. Now's the best time, really, for anybody to come in and ask to take some more money out of your pocket. It's not. Now, I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that we're never going to have taxes. We will have taxes. That's the only way we're going to get out of this thing. But the economy's going to have to grow. So it's kind of grin and bear it right now. You need somebody in there that's going to work these roads, work this, to get us to a point of where when we do start getting a little money, we're ready for it. So, against thinkings can put up with that, I'll ask you to vote for me because I'll do it. Thank you. Y'all enjoy the rest of the
Mayor or Director of Finance. My summary of the audit findings are: in the Office of the Director of Finance, finding 11.01. Competitive bids were not solicited properly on the parking lot project, removal of dirt. The original purchase was for $12,989. This was bid and approved by the FMS, of which I was on. The purchase was increased for a variety of reasons offered by the Finance Office to $26,412. The Finance Office stated in response to this that all bids, all purchases in excess of $10,000 are required by the FMS Act of 1981, which I agree. The auditors came back with their comment and repeated. The auditor's comment was that Campbell County did not solicit competitive bids for work totaling $26,412. In other words, the auditor rejected management statements, reasoning, and action. Finding 11.02, expenditures exceeded appropriations. This was a material means serious. Non-compliance under government auditing standards. General fund expenditures exceeded appropriation approved by the County Commission by $51,659. This deficiency exists because management failed to stay within the spending limits authorized by the County Commission. In other words, they spent money that wasn't approved. which resulted in unauthorized expenditures. The auditor recommended that expenditures be held within appropriations approved by the County Commission. Finding 11.03, Offices of Finance Director and Director of Schools. A, internal control, significant deficiency under government audit standards. B, non-compliance under government audit standards. The auditor noted that purchasing decisions can be attributed, and this is major, lack of management oversight. A, purchase orders were issued after purchases were made. Why have a purchase order if you're not going to use it? This practice defeats the purchase order and makes it an approval payment rather than approval of the purchase. Purchase orders were not issued for several purchases. In other words, they just went out and bought it. How? I don't know. B, competitive bids were not solicited for the removal, installation of fence totaling $45,708. The construction of a parking lot at Valley View Elementary totaling $39,160. No competitive bids. Once again, the provisions of FMS 1981 were violated. And you know it's touted that this act that we operate under is our salvation for finances. Is that correct? Finding 1104, duties were not adequately segregated in the office of the county clerk. That's interesting. Clerk and master and register. Internal control deficiency under government auditing standards. Officials and employees for maintaining accounting records were also involved in receiving, depositing, and/or dispersing funds. Were they working out of the same cash drawer, different people? In other words, how do you establish accountability when something goes wrong? It can't be. You don't know who did it. This deficiency is the result of management failure to correct the finding noted in the prior year audit report. These three offices offered no comment or explanation to the auditor. Chapter 21, under the local option financial management system. Who's responsible for this? Section 25 or 5-21-107. The director, and they're talking about the director of finance, duties, paragraph C, and this is taken directly from his job. The director shall assist other county officials and employees in achieving an efficient management and efficient financial management system for the county. Did he work with these people to try to correct this audit deficiency? It says it's his job. Please note that the superintendent of roads had no audit findings. Is it the director's responsibility? Surely he can help the county clerk, master, and registers solve their problems. It's his job. Another finding, a best practice finding. Campbell County should establish an audit committee. This pops up again. The auditor stated that establishing an audit committee would significantly improve management oversight and accountability. The absence of an audit committee has been a management decision by the county commission. The audit should be an embarrassment for the commissioner, mayor, and director of finance. One commissioner, Tommy Hatmaker, asked the director of finance about one of the audit comments, and he was told that the auditor agreed with him on the audit comment. I can't find any of the findings that agree with the Director of Finance in that report. It's simply not there. It wouldn't be a finding, and Marie, you know this from the CPA. It wouldn't be a finding if the auditor agreed with the director. He wouldn't even put it in the audit report. They don't put positive findings in the audit report. They put negative findings. So how could he agree with it? All of the findings in the audit highlights are adverse, they found something wrong. I assume that Mr. Hatmaker and some other commissioners would have liked to ask additional questions, but given the circumstances and the answers provided by the director, I guess they gave up. We have a few good commissioners, but when you are outvoted, your input is limited. The commission has been presented a draft budget of 16 plus increase, 16 plus 6%, 16% plus. This, if approved, will tax many citizens out of their homes. Don't you realize that the citizens of this county have major financial problems themselves? Read the newspaper, foreclosures everywhere. This county has practically no industrial base, thus no jobs, but you want to increase taxes. Many people are still trying to get over your last tax increase. Given the audit findings, it is evident that this county commission can't justify any tax increase. You need to start protecting the precious resources of the citizens and taxpayers of this county. Some of our commissioners really tried, but for the remainder, shame on you.
TV.